Hi and welcome to another Wednesday with Wilna process video. And today we're going to be playing with these doodles of flowers and flourishes and words that I drew with a pen, and I used my silhouette to cut them out. So I used the print and cut feature. You can find them on iHeartStudio, and there's a lot of doodles in that one file. I think there's a little bit more than what you can see here. I will show you in the end of this video how to print and cut these using your silhouette, and I'm putting it at the end so that if you've seen it you don't have to watch it again. So I'm going to be playing with create papers, notes and things, and oh my gosh, I am so in love with this collection. I cannot even begin to tell you. And we're going to be dyeing tags. So I actually used a dye for a different project that I'll show you in a couple of weeks. But I'm using food coloring that I squirted into a ceramic bowl, and I just added some water. And now you just want to dip the tag in there. It looks super light, but it dries beautifully. I remember making memories way back in the day, had paper dyes, and I always loved it. So I decided just to use it for this project. You can let it dry and dip it again, so then you get two different shades, but I'm just going to do the one shade. I'm also going to be using a beautiful transparency paper by Studio Calico. Beautiful script, and I absolutely love it. But first we're going to be painting with the dye on our page, and I'm also going to use some gelatos. So you can see I'm just painting a little strip, and I'm doing it carefully. I want to add a little bit more of the color, and that's it. It's just going to dry. You can absolutely use watercolor for this as well. You don't have to use dye. It's just that I had it on my desk. And now I'm just going to be adding a little bit of gelatos here and there. And I want this color because you'll see how this page is all about layering. I'm just going to be layer upon layer upon layer. And the reason why I'm sounding so excited is because I really am excited. I absolutely love this page. I sometimes when you make something, and I don't know if it's the same with you, please let me know. I would love to hear it. It's like, where did this come from? So this is a little bit how I feel about this page. So I'm just going to be coloring. You can see small dots of color. And now I'm going to be, I want to get rid of those little shavings of gelatos. So I'm just going to use the embossing tool, but I don't want the paint or the ink dye to run, so just a little bit. Now I'm going to add some water to the gelato just to make it flow a little. And I love gelatos, and I think the reason why I love them so much is just because of the brilliance of the colors. It's so brilliant, it's so beautiful, it's so fresh and absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to be adding a little bit of color there. You can see I'm not painting my whole page. It's just a splash of color. And I'm just using my finger to dissolve the little bit of shavings there. And now you just want it to dry. So I'm going to use my embossing tool and just dry it. This was the second take that I did. I have another page of where I basically did the same thing. I just wanted to be sure that it works well. Right, and once it's dry, we're going to start making our page. I'm just going to make double sure. So you can see that beautiful transparency. And again, I'm going to show you the outtake. I made one, it didn't work really well, and then I made another one and I loved that one. So I'm going to show you both because, like I've said in one of the videos that I made for the art and design class, which starts September 25th, is that I make the mistakes so that you don't have to make them. So here you go. I just printed these doodles out on white American Craft cardstock, and I used my silhouette to print them and cut them, which is brilliant. There's the tag, and in the end I only used one tag. And now I'm using little papers by the Brighton Pier from Studio Calico, and the notes and things. Mini pads. I love mini pads, and the reason is because I can use little bits of paper and I won't feel bad because I've wasted a whole bunch. So basically what I want to do is layer the tag on a couple of pieces of pattern paper, and of course I'm going to use the black and white script. It just works with the transparency that's happening there. So just play with it until you're happy, and then I just used a little tiny attacher to staple it all together. The frame is that I framed my photo with is by Heidi Swap, and I love that one. So this is the first mistake I made. I think I should call the series how not to scrapbook, because in the end I'm showing you all the things I do wrong. Is I put my adhesive down and I did not like it at all. When I looked at the page I could see the adhesive and I didn't like it. So that's the one thing that I would do differently. I'll show you how to adhere the transparency to the page without using vertical strips of adhesive. You can see it then. It's just not as nice. I'll show you my solution to that. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is I wanted to add some acrylic paint, and this I just made a mess. So just watch me make a mess here, which is fine because maybe you like it. I mean, then go for it. But to me, it was just a little messy. I think I'll maybe change my mind once it's completely dry. And then I took this beautiful rollers by Glitz and I just rolled in it. I've done it before, but it was a little too messy. So I took a different approach. So luckily I did have this extra page that I practiced on, and I'm just going to use the other piece of the transparency that I cut off. And now you can see I'm just putting a few horizontal stripes of adhesive, which is way nicer, because in the end where the adhesive was is where I'm going to cover it with the doodles and things and the photo, and then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue behind the transparency to lift it just a tiny bit off the page. And now I'm using a different roller by Glitz, a little bit of acrylic ink, and I'm just going to roll it over it. It looked better, and in the end I like this a lot. So just a tiny bit there, not a lot. And you can see once you lift up the page you can actually see the script, and that's what I wanted to accomplish in the end. Right, so I'm going to be lifting up the transparency like I've said, but I'll show you it later. So there's my little tag. I added a ribbon and I used my machine to stitch it. Now I'm just going to be adding it to my page with a little bit of hot glue. And now I'm going to start adding the doodles. Now, of course you can color them, you can paint them, but I just wanted something really simple, working with splashes of color and black and white imagery. And I must say I'm so in love with them, and I did not think they're gonna turn out so well, because believe it or not, I develop a lot of product that you never see, because in the end it just doesn't work so well. So now you can see the page is getting together, and I'm opening up that sticker sheet by Notes and Things, and I'm just going to add a couple of stickers behind the transparency so that you can see the words a little better. And just because you lift it up makes it more readable. And I mean, what's the use of using it and you can't really see it? So I wanted to see it. So I'm using just the word love, and I'm looking, where am I going to put it? And I decided just to add it there, and just that one simple title is absolutely beautiful. And then the beautiful butterflies, I mean, how pretty is that? And of course I wanted to add more, but then I reminded myself that less is more, and I would rather use it on something else or another page. And I decided to mount my page on that beautiful grey chevron. So now you can see I'm adding a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to let it dry just a little bit before I adhere it. And there you can see how the words appear the moment it's lifted off the background page for just a tiny bit. And that makes me so happy, because the scripted words are so pretty. And I'm going to mount it on this page. Just going to cut it a little smaller. And this is where I usually say something in my head to my kids, because they come into my scrapbook room and they steal my scissors, and I have a big pair of scissors that makes this job so much easier, but I couldn't find it. So and you can see I'm putting a lot of strips of adhesive down because the page buckled a little, and even after I adhered it to the background, I adhered it again to a different piece of cardstock because it was really buckled for some reason. I don't know if it's maybe the ink. Gelatos is very gentle. If you use Gelatos, for some reason your paper doesn't buckle as much. And I'm just going to, I've seen it a lot of times. This is the very first time I actually did it. I think Anna Maria from Studio Calico loved to add some thread to her pages, and I decided to do that. So you just ring it around your finger, add a bit of hot glue, and just stick it in, and voila, just a little bit of detail to make it super fascinating. So now I'm writing a little note to my girls, and if you think this is very sentimental, well, it's not. So yesterday was Sunday and school started last week, and for some reason there was 100 teenagers in my house probably till 9:30, and I lost my patience, and I just decided that the rule number 3 in my house, because rule number 1 is be kind to one another, and rule number 2 is look out for one another. And I decided that I'm adding a third rule, and it's that no friends on a Sunday after 6 p.m. in this house. Because on a Sunday night, I love to spend some time together, maybe have a meal together, tidy the house a little bit so that Mondays is not as chaotic. So that's basically what I wrote there. And there you go, page is almost done. I'm just going to be adding a little bit more of the pinkish paint in there. I just wanted that specific spot to be a little more pink. And you will see that I'm not going to be adding paint splatters, because number 1 is I don't usually do red or reddish paint splatters just because it looks like blood. And I'm not really ready to pull a Dexter on my scrapbook pages. So I'm just distressing the edge there a little bit. But then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that at the top. Just going to distress it a little bit. I love that tag. I love that dye. You can use any kind color of food coloring there. And now I'm just going to bring out my machine and I'm going to stitch around the edges. I don't even know if you'll be able to see anything that I do, except that when I started to stitch, of course the thread did something terrible, so I had to rethread the machine. But luckily I can do it rather quickly. And I remember as a child I was always so fascinated because my mom did needlework. She used to make clothes for people, and she could thread a machine like lightning fast. So yeah, I'm still not up to scratch there, and I think that's maybe the reason why I only do sewing on paper and not on any type of fabric. But anyway, so I'm just going around the edges there, and this is also a nice way just to make sure that the transparencies stay on the page like forever. So I absolutely love the lightness of this page and just the whole feeling of it. I just think I love it. So thank you so much for watching another Wednesday with Wilna. I hope you like the page. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will probably see you on the interwebs soon. Bye. So I just quickly want to run through the printable and how to print and cut using this doodle flowers that I drew up. So this is the preview of the file, and you can see once you purchased it and you download it and you open up the folder, there's all these files and it looks very overwhelming. But I try to organize them as best possible. So all the yellow ones go together, all the green ones go together, and all the pink ones go together. So not everyone has a wide format printer. So you have a 12 by 12 inch option that you can print and cut if you have a wide format printer, and it's this one. And then I also made them into two smaller files, so if you just have a normal printer you can use the 8.5 by 11, that's the one, and then this is the other one, and then you can cut it from there. So how it works is, if you use the print and cut feature, you want to open the PNG file, and then you can use the relating cut file. So there's 3 cut files with every file: the DFX, the SVG, and the PNG file. So I just love using the PNG file and this SVG file, sorry. So open up your silhouette, and you just want to select your paper size, and let's make it letter landscape, and then open the related one. You can see there, let's go with the yellow flower, the yellow one. So there, okay, let's do that again. So if you want to print this file, you make sure that your registration marks show and that none of it touches the registration marks, and I made sure when I designed it so that it doesn't. So now you want to print it, and you set up your page under file, page setup, set up your printer and then the size of your paper, and then you want to print it from here. Okay, and then once it's printed, you put it on your mat, and then you want to make a cut file. So you're going to open up the SVG that works with it. So it will open in a new window, and you just want to click copy, right click copy, and then open this file and right click paste. Sorry, so copy and then paste, and just make sure that it's over it. And now you want to go to trace, select trace area, trace it, deselect the high pass filter and click trace. If you remove the black cut file, you will see that they're beautiful, perfectly. You can just move them so that they fit your cut file, fit the shape perfectly, and then you can just go to the cut window and click cut. So another way to do it is let me just close here, is let's go to a big window. So open up and let's pick the big the 12 by 12 inch one. So there you go. And you want to, under file, page setup, just set it up for 12 by 12, but you have to select your wide format printer. 12 by 12, I always choose the sheet feeder borderless, and show registration marks is very important. And now you print it, and then if you want to add the cut file, you just open the SVG file, click on it, right click, say copy, go to this one, right click, say paste, and then you click the trace area, select trace area, select it, declick the high pass filter, click trace, and if you remove the black part, which you don't need to, but I always do, just delete. You can see the red lines is exactly where the white ends, and it will cut perfectly. Even though I had to try twice, I think my silhouette didn't read the registration marks right the first time. But the trick is so that you stay in this window while you cut. So the registration marks should show, and then you select cut. And the other trick is that you make sure that your design does not touch the grayed out areas of the registration marks that you can see here. So this is how I designed it to cut, print and cut. You can just print it out and cut it out with your hand as well, but this is a little easier. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get it right, and let me know if there's any questions. Bye.